Hey everyone, it's Keith from Health Ops. I wanted to digress a little bit about my last video that explained that your life is a game, and I want to go a little more in depth on what I mean by that and how we can help empower you and empower your family to have a better long-term lifestyle. So let's get started. So the first, imagine yourself at a child's soccer game, a high school soccer game, football game, any event like that. But typically, if you walked in and you were spectating, you would ask other people, hey, you'd see the scoreboard. So you'd say, hey, how's the game going? And you'd probably hear, or you've probably said one of these few things. Number one would be like, imagine you're rooting for your child. You'd be like, hey, they're playing great. They're playing great. It's a close game. Super exciting. Sit down, take a look. Okay. Have you heard this one? How's the game going? And what you hear is, well, they're losing pretty bad, but they're playing really hard. They're playing together. It looks like they're having fun. Okay, does that ring any bells? How about this one? When basically, I have to log back in here. How about this one? When you're up a bunch of goals, you're up a bunch of runs, and you come in and be like, well, they're obviously kicking butt. Okay, they're winning huge, but they are playing so sloppy, but we're winning. Okay, so these are the kind of scenarios. And what I want to teach you today is just think about every decision you make regarding your health is a game. You're actively sitting in a game. We'll use my other example was kind of a board game, but imagine you're in, let's just say a soccer game. You're in a game of life where you have your health choices every single day. We're inundated, or we have a lot of different sporting events that we see in the United States, and we have a lot of choices in what people like it for entertainment and sport and, recreation, exercise. It's all great. So with that, every time you see someone playing either a game on a field, they're playing a game somewhere where they're doing some sort of physical activity, I want you to think that's my life. I'm actively playing this game whether I do sports or not. Okay, so let me explain what that means. There's rules to the game of health. Okay, there's rules to that game. And that game, if you don't understand the rules, then over time, it's going to be unsatisfactory. It might be disappointing. It might lead to a lot of discomfort, pain. It might lead to a lot of unnecessary things. So when you think about the rules that you need to play, it's not the scale. You're not playing against the scale, and you're not playing against, meaning the body scale, and you're not playing against the mirror. That's not what you're playing against. I want to really get that across. That's not the avenue that we want at Health Ops. So we're not teaching you how to look better, although you'll look better in the end, probably, but that's not it. The rules of the game are very specific, and we'll go through all of these together, but you have to learn the rules or you'll be disappointed on the game that you're already in. Okay? If you're younger, say 25 years or less, then you got 3/4 of your game still left to play. Say if you're closer to 50 like myself and you're at kind of halftime of the game. Okay? And if I was the coach, I'd be giving you a halftime speech saying like, here's where you were, and if you keep going the way you're going now, I can see where you can end up. I've had the pleasure of treating patients that are well older than myself for years. And their pathway, although they can't see it at the time, typically leads in one direction. And small little habits, they don't have to be horrible habits, but small little habits that aren't good in food choices, nutritional choices, genetics that you don't have any say in, activity, vices, recreation, all those little things that you play throughout your life, they lead you on a course, and that course typically ends up somewhere in a physician's office at some point in time. And some of that you can't avoid, but that's why I want to teach you if we can avoid some things early, then one, we can keep ourselves healthy, number one, and number two, our children don't have to follow that course, or a course that's even faster. What's going on with kids right now? They're on a rapid course of declining health. I'll do a talk on the data that's been out on the peak health now is almost like 29 years old. You're at peak health, okay? And we'll talk about that. So So you have to know the rules, and we'll explain those as we go through, not all today, okay? Time. You have to understand where you're at in your time cycle. So again, you might be in the first quarter, which is 25 or less. You might be in the second quarter, which is like, 26 to 50. And then 50 might be your halftime. And then your third quarter might be just say 50 to 75, and then 76 plus, okay? Those are the 4 quarters that we're kind of used to break down what happens in those 4 events, 4 quarters. And if I was your coach and you're making bad mistakes in your first quarter, I would coach you to where you're getting in trouble. Okay, if you keep playing that way the rest of your life, or the rest of quote unquote the game, then I can probably predict what the score will be. Okay, you might already be at 50, and where you're like, well, in the concept of the game analogy, I'm losing. Okay, wait, it's only halftime. We have a lot of time still to play, and if you learn how to adjust those, then we can use time as our we'll use time as our kind of our advocate to help us, because we know we can gauge time. Humans are horrible at predicting time. Okay, they're horrible at basically, how long has this video been going on right now? If you just had to guess, I have no idea, but I'm probably going to guess wrong because it's probably going to feel like it's longer than it is. Okay, to some. So we're not good at predicting time. The problem is when we want something to happen quickly in our health, we expect it to happen like tomorrow, and it doesn't happen like that because it hasn't come on like that. It's taken years in some cases to create these patterns that get us in trouble. We can't just fix it overnight. So don't be duped by time, okay, and the illusion of time. When you watch these videos that are online that are kind of like there's time lapse where it goes super fast and they like to see the end product, and that's great. But what we're going to work on is the time that it takes in between. So again, as a rule of the game, there's a certain amount of time that you have, and as a coach, I have to help you manage the time that's in there so we can be the most effective. Okay, good choices when there's lots of time. When there's not much time, we have to enhance our choices. Okay. The next thing is, when we play a game, it's not a game like my daughter's golf club here. The game of health is not played like one-on-one in between our ears, just us alone, okay? Where we're comparing ourselves to everything else on social and other places. It's not what this is. So health is a team game, meaning you, your family together, your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, your co-workers, groups of people that you know. We're going to play this together, okay? We play together as a group because the opponents we're playing against there's a lot of them. We'll go through all those specifically later. But the game we're playing against pharmaceuticals. We're playing against genetics. We're playing against health and nutrition options. We're talking about big food, big pharma. That's who's all trying to get us, okay, to make bad choices. Okay, so we have to understand that the opponent is very good at what they do. And they've led us down a path that has been very detrimental. And that's why together we can learn some choices and start moving forward. But we're going against a very good team, okay? So that's why we have to kind of work on this together. And the last thing that I really want to kind of put down for you when we think about this is it's not hopeless. And there's nothing that's hopeless for anybody, okay? We can all learn to make some better choices. We can all learn with encouragement that we can move forward. And at Health Ops here, we're not looking at trying to let people, because again, there's a whole mind game of that too. That's more of the individual type golf type game. Like, we don't want you in your mind thinking about what you can or can't do. We're going to help teach you. A lot of what we're going to teach is going to be like mind games on how to maximize schedule, how to think a different way, because over time, you have to have, if a coach came up to you, if a coach was coaching you in a game, if you played a sport, I'm sure you've heard this before, the coach comes up and be like, hey Keith, like what's going on out there? Like, tell me, what are you thinking and what's happening? What's the other person doing against you? Like, tell me where you're at. And because the coach can obviously see something that isn't working, or maybe is working super well and wants to encourage you to keep doing that. Okay, so think of it like that. We don't want you to do this alone. Okay, this is going to be, you have to relearn everything we've kind of learned about health and wellness and fitness, and we're going to start one step at a time. But understand that you're in a game, okay? And it doesn't matter where you're at. We'll learn in the next video kind of where you're at and then where you want to go from there. But wherever you want to go, it can only get improvement. We're going to do this all together. We'd love for you to come join us. Check us out on our normal sites. You can myhealthapps.com, and you can look us up on the usual social feeds. So until next time, have a great day.